Hello, I'm Danny, and this is Sylvia.
Yo.
Apparently, in the beginning of these things, I meant to say follow, subscribe, share, do the internet buttons, all the stuff. I'm not doing that enough, they say. So follow, subscribe. Oh, yeah, I mean, the name of the show would probably help, right?
Yeah, what shall we subscribe? In the beginning, there was.
This is the talking ass.
There you are.
Follow,
Boo.
okay? And enjoy the show. Hey, Emily, welcome. This is what's that? Monty Python. Now for something completely different. But it's not that different. We've done ice sports before here, so now just let's do the other one. Figure skating.
Yes.
You're excited.
Yeah, so excited to be here, Danny.
Yeah.
Obviously following a plethora of guests, and I'm so honored to be one of them. And so excited to be here today with you, Danny, to talk about my passion and maybe addiction currently, and that's figure skating. And we've timed it very well.
Winter Olympics start on the 6th of February. So, figure skating, ice dancing, first of all, different events, right? Let's split this to the basics.
Yeah, should we? Yeah, I think we need to roll it back because obviously, I think, Danny, I don't know where you fit on the figure skating scale and knowledge of that, but I'm sure there's many a person potentially listening today who have no idea about the world of figure skating. I did read up earlier today that the figure skating is the most watched discipline of the Olympics. So there's a big interest, but let's try and break it down for the listeners today. So,
Wait, instant question there. What data is this based on? Is this based on this period when the NHL players haven't been in the hockey tournament and it's been a bunch of like second-rate pros rather than the best in the world?
yeah, good to critique this data. I can tell you've been to Cambridge. I don't know. This was a very quick Google. So what we might need to do is do some drilling on in the background and get some info as to what those stats are. I think it's based on most views. I don't know if that's, what that data time period of capture was. Was it the last Olympics? Is it every single time? But I will give you a little nugget of knowledge. The ice hockey was second. So people love ice sports.
And by the way, that makes total sense. I was just kidding. I don't think even like this year, by the way, the best in the world are back in the Olympics for ice hockey as well, but the professionals. But I don't think that that makes a difference because ice dancing and figure skating have this whole Disney appeal, right? Where casual viewers that watch nothing else in the Winter Olympics love it aesthetically. So it's got like
Mm.
anything from little kids who watch those Frozen and Disney dancing on ice, if that still exists. I don't know. So yeah, it's the most appealing, right?
Yeah, I think you raise a good point there that maybe ice hockey is a little bit more niche than the figure skating. But I think, yeah, ice sports overall dominate the Olympics overall. And secondly, we're looking at skiing, of course. And then you've got your niche sports where the UK get really excited about like curling.
Because we
I'll
have a
reserve
chance.
my judgment on what I think of curling, but there you go.
And I said we have a chance there because I'm in the Olympics. I'm happy to be. Well, here's my problem. I would be team Great Britain, His Majesty's Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, if they competed like everyone else as the actual like independent country that they are. But it's something
Ooh,
called Team GB, which
yeah.
makes no sense. So it's just England and Wales combined. That
No,
makes
you've got
no sense to
Scotland.
me.
You've missed a critical country there. You've got Scotland.
Okay, but like, and then Northern Irish people can choose in the Olympics whether they're Irish or Team GB. Which what like
Okay.
yeah, I don't. Anyway, I will say we because in the curling I'm happy to be British.
Yeah, because they're winning, right? I get it. You pick and choose your countries that suit you. I'll do the same.
I've suffered from living in this shithole for a decade, so I
Yeah.
can I get to be a fan now. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to ask you. Danny, I'll go into your question. I know you asked a question. We've gone off on a tangent, but um, in the ice hockey, are you going to be supporting our team G
Oh,
there?
Finland.
Finland. Nice.
Sometimes they've made it back, like way, way back in ice hockey. Team like Great Britain even has some world championships, maybe even an Olympic medal or two. I'm not 100% sure, but that's way back when the Oxford and Cambridge teams were like really good. Nowadays they're fully amateur, like not very good.
Okay.
So
All right. Because it's a big sport, I think, still, like even in the UK, like looking at like grassroots sports, like ice hockey is still big. I see a lot of ice hockey marks when I'm figure skating at the ice rink. It takes up too much time. If we could get less people involved in ice hockey, that would be great. Free up the ice rink for me, please. Thank
fair
you.
enough. No, the answer is in the UK we need more ice rinks.
Yes.
And I've been a follower, not an advocate, but now that I have this platform, I probably will help out by bringing someone from the ice community, the general ice rink community that isn't so racist against hockey like you, that might love both equally.
With you, and I support the cause for more ice rinks 100%. And ultimately, what I'd love to do is not obviously get people to watch the Olympics, but it's like starting that passion for ice skating that I have. And whatever our things are, we've got our differences with ice hockey and figure skating. But ultimately, I think we share the same goals, right? We want more ice time, we want more ice rinks, and we want ice skating in whichever format to be higher up on the British sports agenda.
Yeah, I'm an hour and a half away, probably,
Wow.
from a
Well, you're gonna have
serious
to get to
opportunity.
London, Danny. Like, I am fortunate in the fact that I've got two ice rinks and a 20-minute drive away in London, but I know I'm probably quite unique in that. I used to have an ice rink literally just round the corner from me in walking distance. Unfortunately, long story short, the road flooded. They didn't they didn't put the ice rink back. But yeah, there's a real dearth of ice rinks throughout the UK. We need
Yeah.
more ice rinks. I don't know who we need to talk to about it, but come on, build more ice rinks, please.
I'm gonna try to talk to the generals and the politicians, the defense establishment, because this is soft power. Britain has real hopes for medals in the Winter Olympics. Like the if you stay away from skiing and ski jumping when all where all the drugged up Norwegians are stealing all the medals and fucking with their suits and stuff. Did you read that? They were cutting into the crotch of a ski jumping suit or something. I don't know. Anyway, if we stay away from that, in these sheet ice, flat ice sports, Britain has Olympic actual hopefuls growing up here, so we should invest in it.
100%, 100%. And I think the ice dance that we'll hopefully drill into a little bit more. This is where Britain comes into their own when it comes to figure skating. We don't see dominance so much in female singles and the men's singles, but ice dance, with Torval and Dean, our stand-up pair for, or sorry, they're sir, they've been knighted now.
Torvill and Dean have been knighted
Yes.
for services to what? Just like general aesthetics or what? Like,
Service to the ice dance, ice dancing
oh my
community.
god.
I think that was
Man.
last year. But yeah, but even very excitingly, we do have hopes for the podium in ice dance from Team GB. So very exciting time for Team GB. So we'll get more
All
onto
right.
that.
Who are they?
Oh, okay. Yes. So this is why I was so adamant that Scotland are within Team GB. So we've got Leah Fear and Lewis Gibson. Fear is actually Canadian. Gibson, Scottish.
Wait, so the Canadian gets a medal for Britain then?
Yeah.
What is this, Eurovision?
Yeah, this is my vision of water life. So what I actually learned last week when I went to the Euros, figure skating Euros, was that you only need one of those two pairs in ice dance to be a citizen of that country. And what you often find is like a mixed nationality pair. And my coach is an ice dancing coach, and she's from Bulgaria, and her partner was from the US, but he got nationality to compete for Bulgaria. So you often see this bringing in of other nationalities in this discipline.
And since we don't want this to be blocked in any countries where gambling might be illegal, we talk about matchsticks. Right now, if you're playing matchsticks with your mommy, you can get 16 matchsticks to 1 for
Oh,
Fear and Gibson to win. But that means it's way likelier than that for a medal. So they are serious medal hopefuls. But to win, there's some Americans and French people in front, though.
yes, that is exactly what my predictions would be. So, should we start from the top of us, like what figure skating,
Go ahead.
like the different figure skating disciplines, and then roll back to to
I promise no more tangents.
of what the hell we're even talking about here with ice darts. What is it? So at the Olympics, we've got 4 disciplines for ice skating. They've also got a team event. We're not going to talk about that. We obviously, I think most people know these ones. You've got your men's singles. Guess what happens in men's singles? You've got one male skater there. They've got a series, and this is the same throughout, of 4 disciplines. You've got a short program and a free skate. What do we see in the men's singles? We see really big jumps. Currently, what we're seeing are people landing quads. Is absolutely ridiculous. These things shouldn't be happening. People said that quads shouldn't be happening. Physics said that this shouldn't be a jump that could happen, but we're seeing quads.
Is this like in Blades of Glory, where this is the trick from North Korea that's been banned internationally?
To be fair, it should be banned because it's just so crazy, but it's there. It's a legit move. One of the moves that was banned was the backflip, but I've heard that the ISU, the International Skating Union, has let that now be an element. So you may even see a black backflip or two in some of these programs, which is super exciting. Yeah, so you've got your jumps, you've got your spins, and you've got your footwork. Same for the women's. Are we going to see quads from the women? Unfortunately, we haven't got any Russians anymore. So all of the quad jumpers from the for the women's competition.
All of the best drugs are gone, yeah.
Yes. You've got your pairs skating. So you've got a male and female pairs skates. They skate together. What are you going to see here? You're going to see some really crazy elements, and to me, too scary to watch elements. You're going to have them chucking their partner across the ice. So, and here you'll maybe see an assisted quad jump. You'll see them doing quite death-defying holds, death-defying spins, and things like them just throwing their partner up in the air whilst they're skating along. Their partner does 3 or 4 rotations in the air and they catch them again. Honestly, it's not the skating I could do. Absolutely mental. Too scary for me to watch. And then finally, the creme de la creme, in my opinion, is the ice dance. And in the ice dance, you're not going to see these ridiculous elements necessarily. But I would say this is what ice skating is about. It's about the artistry, it's about the quality of footwork that you see, it's about the musical interpretation, the telling of a story. And this is something that I get very excited about. So the ice dance for me to watch is probably one of my top favorites. And you'll have 2 sections. The first one, they compete on day 1. It's the rhythm dance. It's about a 2.5 minute, 3-minute program. It's a shorter one, usually quite high energy and very dance expression. They then have a break. Next day, they come back. They do their free dance, 4 minutes. Usually a bit slower tempo, because they're skating for so long. It's hard to skate with such high energy. And yeah, it's a little bit more passionate, but still the same amazing skating. So I think when you're first looking at like the ice skating from like an outside perspective, what are you getting really excited about? You're getting excited about jumps, you're getting excited about amazing spins. So I can see like the appreciation for ice stance doesn't maybe come through, but like being a skater myself, seeing like the quality of edges they have, the type of footwork that they do, it has to be absolutely perfect. And then secondly, for me, it's the like artistry and musical interpretation that really just comes through in ice dance, and oh,
We
it's
we can
beautiful.
all hear how much you love this, so everyone's gonna hate me for this. But
Yes.
because this is the one that's most open to artistic interpretation, this is also most open to the corrupt Yugoslavian judge or whatever, because these are judge sports where people give points, and this is in the eye of the beholder in many senses, right?
Well, yeah, good question, because you've got like how is fake like figure skating judged? And this is across all of these disciplines, right? So you've got your technical elements score. That's like how like what elements did they do? You've got a base value for every single thing. So like a footwork pattern, different type of hold in ice dance, what a different jump would be. You've got a set value that's assigned to each element. They've then put like a grade of execution on it. So for every element, you can either subtract 5 or plus 5, and things that like will make it a positive execution. It's got to be clean, well executed, etc. And you can also hack that by like making it a difficult entry, a difficult exit, etc. Obviously, mistakes. I think we all see it. You've fallen, you've done a jump, you're under rotated. What does that mean? You haven't actually done all the 4 rotations or the whole rotation. Your landing looks crap. You're falling, you've taken off points there. But then, yes, this is the point where you've come to. So you've got your program components scores. So that's how good did it look? Like, what did the skating skills look like? The quality of edge, was it quick? Like, did you go in with speed? Did you look controlled? Like, what sort of transitions are you doing between your elements? What did your overall performance look like? What energy did you have? What expressions did you have on your face? Did you look like you're really into it and telling the story through your face and your arms and your body, etc.? Overall composition, so what the choreography was, and then how you interpreted the music, so timing, musicality, all of those. So for your technical element score, which does feature an ice dance, that is, apart from this grade of execution, which I think could be a bit of subjectivity, right? That is kind of set in stone. Where you're right, that program component score, that's where you're gonna see people's subjectivity coming in. That's where you're gonna see that bias, right?
Yeah. And there's some subconscious things, because since we're both slightly science perverts, I'd say there are subconscious things like the music. If you like the song, you might say that it doesn't affect you, but of course it does. So then that program component score is just half a point affected by the fact that you had a great time listening to Tiny Dancer or whatever.
Oh, 100%. I don't know, like, I'd like to think that the judges were impartial, but me as a fan of the sport, 100% I'm there. Do I love the music? Is definitely like one of the things as to whether I've enjoyed their program or not. So, as a fan, 100%. As a judge, I'm sure they're trying to remove bias, but you can never remove 100% bias from anything, really. We've just got to be aware of them and hopefully mitigate throughout.
All right. Before we go into, I know you have prepared the big names to watch in all of these
Mm.
events. Couple more interesting conceptual questions. Number one, the mixed gender. This is always a man throwing a woman, right? You told me it's possible that there'll be man on man and woman on woman events in the future as well.
Yeah, well, this is yeah, very interesting. So, we had Cizeron, and I really struggle quite often to say her name, Papadakis. They are the French Olympic champions. They took gold at the Olympics in 2022 in Beijing. They've had an amazing career together. They started skating at the age of 8, and to be honest, they've won everything they've pretty much ever entered. But don't quote me on that. Absolutely phenomenal skaters, and for me, one of the reasons as to why I'm enjoying ice dance so much. The first program that I ever saw, like from professional skaters was their program Fame. And for me, it was absolutely spectacular and really got me hooked in ice dance. I know that the story I've just told there is basically the equivalent of someone going, "I'm really into watching the 100 meters sprint. I watched Usain Bolt. He was pretty fast. I'm really impressed with this sport." It is the equivalent of that. I appreciate that, but they are absolutely incredible skaters. But they split up in December 2024. So we were thinking the reign of Papadakis and Cizeron is done. And it is done. Both of these guys, Papadakis is gay, as is Cizeron. And Papadakis is now making a move for same-sex skating. So that's what she's chosen to vie for after her skating career, and she has been successful and things are changing. We saw that the British Skating Federation, the BSI, has said that they're going to allow same-sex ice dance partners. So it'll be interesting to see from the years to come where that's going to go and whether we will see same-sex partners. And it would be very interesting to see, yeah, how that's going to go in the dynamics of point scoring and all of this stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating time, and I'm all for it. Like, especially because what you find in like grassroots movement, you have a lot of women female skaters and a lot of women who want to get into ice dance, but they can't find a partner because there's not that many men who want to do, believe it or not that many men want to do ice dance. So yeah, hopefully girl on girl skating will mean that more girls get the opportunity to do ice dance as a discipline. So all for it.
That would be a lovely effect. I know what the arguments for and against are.
Yes, go.
The argument for is it's already so camp and so gay, so why not? And the argument against is isn't this camp and gay enough for you guys? Like what?
It is very true, but I would like to say that like just because you're a male figure skater doesn't have any effect on, who you choose to love, despite what some males may say.
Some ice hockey playing males, especially. Yeah, I
Yes.
think so. Yeah, there was one I remember a Russian who was like a sex symbol. This might be 15 years ago. Who was like a superstar young Russian ice skater, and he was like an international sex symbol.
Well, to me, Cizeron is definitely hot. He's a hot guy, like, can't deny it. Definite sex symbol. Would I have a chance of
Oh
if
yeah,
he was straight? Probably not. So it doesn't matter. Girl can dream, right?
don't sell yourself short. You share a passion, like that's where it starts. You share a passion for his figure skating career.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't see how it could be go wrong in any way. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So those guys are gone. Let's start with I don't know women's singles. What do we have there? What countries and what dark horses?
So what do we want to look at like really for like making any sort of predictions? Obviously, there's ice skating competitions that happen all the time. What are the big hitters? We've got the Worlds. The Worlds happened back in March, 2025, a couple of months ago now, but probably the best guess of where we're going to be seeing people position at the Olympics because it's an international stage. We've got the European Championships. The most recent happened in January. We've got the US figure skating champions, obviously trying to find who the best US skaters are. You've got the four continents. And of course, we've got the previous Olympics as well. So I'm going to say for the women's, the best guess that we've got here is really looking at the Worlds in Boston. Why are we not looking at the Olympics? Because that was dominated by the Russians. We don't have the Russians this time round. So where are we looking here? We're looking at the ISU. And who dominated there? We had the US and an absolutely phenomenal skater, Isa Liu. She is super young. Her story is actually really interesting because she retired at 16, took a couple of years back out, and then came back to competitive figure skating. She took the gold at Worlds, and it looks like quite a points difference as well from the second placed individual from Japan. We also then had Japan in third as well. So I would say that it's going to be US gold. I think she's the favorite, followed by Japan. I think there's a lot of Japanese US skaters that may come into the competition there. So that vie for second place may be there, but I think our best bet is going to be that Lisa Liu is going to take this.
I read that America hasn't actually dominated at all recently, that she was the first individual world champion woman in 20 years or 19 years
Yeah.
or something.
And that's because of Russia's dominance. Like Russia have been, it's not the question of which country are going to place, it's which one of these three Russians are going to take what positions are they going to fall in. That's how I've seen it. Why has that been happening? Just absolute, they're skating second to none over the last couple of years. Technical elements, we've seen quads being landed, but it's also their approach isn't just skate as hard as you can, land a quad, scrape back across the ice, land another quad. There is such artistry and musical interpretation in their programs that has meant that they've been, you know, holding on to those top spots at the Olympics. So it's a very exciting time this time round when they've been taken out of the equation, and we've now got the whole world, quote unquote, to actually have an opportunity to podium and get the gold at the Olympics.
Yeah. Let's treat this, before I ask this question, let's treat this as like a big, relevant, important country would,
Mm.
that only medals matter. Because I grew up in a small, unimportant country where they will count all kinds of other things like, ooh, top tens or personal bests, or no, it's the Olympics, medals count. Any hope for any British woman in this category?
Unfortunately not. We have one British lady, Christian Spores. Kristen Spores. Great skater. Like, honestly, if we put me on the ice next to her, she would wipe the floor with me. But on that international stage, she's not leveling up. I think she finished about 19th in the Euros that just happened, and that's on the Euro stage. So I'm not even sure if she's qualified. I think she has, but do I think she's got a chance at the podium? Unfortunately not.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. What about Finland? Since
Well, I
we
haven't swatted
we
up.
both have some interest in that as well, I guess.
Indeed. Weirdly, been very GB focused on this. We saw at the Euros, we saw some very good Finnish skaters. Where did they finish at the Euros? Finish, boom, boom, boom. Not on the top podium. So I think they were going, and don't quote me on this, around 7th, 8th mark. So very good quality of skating, beautiful to watch. But again, on that international stage, or even on the European stage, they're not yet reaching the podium. And Europeans, even, I don't think we're going to see them in the top set necessarily for the
No,
Olympics either.
they're in the category of, hey, nice to go, nice taxpayer funded holiday, unless there's some kind of food poisoning incident, mass diarrhea, and then they might win a
Yeah.
medal. So, yeah.
100%. So who from Europe do we think is going to take it? Based on the Europeans and where they landed as well in the worlds on the previous year, we've actually got Estonia who won
Whew,
the Euros.
we love Estonia. All right, that's our girl. What's her name?
Nina Petrikovna.
Ah, sounds real Estonian. sounds sounds a bit Russian. Mm.
I think I might have said it. I was trying to look for the chat, but yeah, so she may be Russian. Who knows? I haven't looked into her background.
Ah, she was born in Tallinn. All right, she counts.
Give her that. And then second place, we have Belgium. Phenomenal skater, Lena Hendricks.
Belgium? We're not going to give a medal in the Winter Olympics in.
Not in the Olympics. This is on the Euros.
Yeah, all right, fair.
But
Jesus
she skated
Christ.
very well. So they're our top two Europeans. Really. Estonia, she won it last year as well. So she's probably the strongest from Europe. If anyone is going to podium, it will probably be third. But do we think it's going to be there? If I had to put money on it, I'd be betting against rather than for. Sorry, match six.
Good save. Hey, we're gonna root for her. All right. Hey. Okay then. What about the men then?
Before we go on to that, I think what can we expect in terms of tricks wise from the women? I think we've already ruled out the quads, right? We may see some triple axles. What I heard was Lou, the US skater, is currently working on her triple axel. She's landing it clean. So we may see a triple axel from her. We may not. So, that's the thing to look out for. If she lands her triple axel, clap loudly. She's worked hard for it. So that's probably the best trick that we're going to see on from the women at the Olympics.
What kind of minions do you have spying on these teams? Like you're running a serious operation.
I really am. No, I just watched YouTube. So this was in an interview with Jimmy Fallon.
I see. Yeah, Jimmy Fallis. Yeah, she did complete Alyssa Liu, however she pronounced it. She did complete a quad and a triple axel, and I'm gonna pretend to know what that means, in the same program last
You
year.
did a quad.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's the first woman to have done it. This is what I researched, but this could be bullshit. I don't know. The internet is full of crap that isn't true, but well, I mean, we can check it out right now.
Yeah,
I
let's do
there
it.
must be video of it because who would do that and not film it?
Yeah.
Uh, oh, she's not the first woman. There's Kamila Valieva in
Yeah, the
2022.
Russians are landing them. First US woman with a quad. So she did land a quad at age, well, according to the AI overview from Google, at age 14 she landed a quad Lutz, which is the second hardest type of skating jump to land. So that's pretty phenomenal. Amazing that she's landing quads. Why is she struggling with a triple axel then?
I think they are doing these crazy things when they're very, very young.
Mm.
And then they get better at all the other technical aspects when muscle growth and experience and coaching and everything. So when you add like 6, 7 years to their career, they might be overall better, but they might actually not be as good at the crazy jumps.
Yeah, it may be. Yeah, when you're prepubescent, your hips aren't as wide, and the width of your hips that come with puberty make it harder for ladies to land the quad. They, I guess, impair the angular momentum that you have. And the second thing, she took a break from ice skating, right? So maybe during that time she lost her quads. Or maybe we'll see some quads from her. That'd be very exciting to see some quads being landed at the women's.
And the triple axel and what else is there? Is that the two main ones to watch, or is there anything else that is at all difficult?
Well, there's even what I would say, like doing a backwards inside three turn would be, pretty bloody challenging. But in figure skating, you've got six types of jumps. So I'll do it in order of difficulty. So you've got your salco, you've got your toe loop, your flip. It's not like a flip as you know it. Don't expect anyone to be going over their head or behind their head. You've got your lutz and you've got your axle. So you've got six different jumps there. Your axle is the only one that takes off forward. So if you want to look like you know what you're talking about when you're watching the figure skating, if you see them taking off going forwards, you can go, oh, that was a good axle. Also things to look out for. Obviously, you've got your sit spin. So when they've crawled up really small into the floor. And the one that I get really impressed by is the Billman spin. The Billman spin is where they've got their leg pretty much in the splits. It's being held behind their head in the air. You'll usually see it at the end of people's programs. Absolutely stunning. It's a Billman spin named after Denise Billman, who was one of the first people to compete that. And then finally, you've got your spirals. and different variations again from that. I don't know why I find it so interesting when women split their legs, but there you go. Maybe when I edit that bit out. But like one of my favorite spirals, once again, is when they're going forward, their leg is in the splits, and their head is next to their skating leg knee. It's absolutely phenomenal. I can't remember what the name of that one is, but oh my god, if I could do that on ice, I'd be like, I've nailed ice skating. I've done it. So those are the technical elements that I personally really enjoy. Danny, do you have any favorites?
My favorite event is the judging in figure skating. I'm fascinated by, all right, this is like, because I know nothing about what just happened, except maybe the song that was playing. And then I'm like, all right, well, let's see who's politically aligned where. All right, there's an Albanian judge. Are we going to put them in the Eastern Bloc or the Western Bloc in this voting? There's the Ukrainian judge. What have we sent them? Some kind of aid package? All right, that's going to come to us, right?
Well, it's moved on, unfortunately, because I think it has combined score now. Because it used to be the days where you'd get like each judge being like a score out of 6.0, right? And you'd get like 5.8. Whereas now we don't see that. You have a whole stream of people judging, but we only see that like point score. So we don't see that. We don't have the Eurovision scoring and the political geopolitics between countries anymore in ice skating. Unfortunately, the scoring's changed.
That is unfortunate. I miss Olga, the Russian judge. I miss US and Canada getting all the votes from the Western countries and Russia getting all the votes from the Eastern countries.
Yeah, you're gonna have to stick to Eurovision, unfortunately, Danny, for that sort of entertainment now.
I love it. All right. Hey, men. Who's hot in the men? Eh?
Oh, hot at skating is the question I'm gonna take here. And I think without doubt, the person who's taking gold is Ilia Quad God Malinin.
He's got a nickname, Quad God. I love it.
Yeah. He is the first guy to ever land all six jumps. So all of those jumps that we spoke about, he's the only one to land all of them in one program in competition. So he is gonna take it, and it looks like he's only gonna be progressing further. Just saw some stuff on from his Instagram this morning. He's now training to do combination jump. So a combination jump being you do one jump and then you take off and do another jump. You can do a multiple combination jumps, like a series of 3 jumps in quick succession is usually what you see. What he was training for was a quad axel and then doing another quad axel straight after. I was trying to find out what the grade of execution was for that jump, and I couldn't find it because apparently it's not yet been scored. So it'll be interesting to see whether he's going to include it in his program.
He's gonna win. Like, it's always the people who have these rumors, like, wow, they're gonna do something that doesn't exist. They're always gonna win anyway. Just again, here there's some subconscious bias, right? Because the sport is so hyped about him, therefore it is gonna affect the scoring. Like in the Tiger Boom, if golf was a judged sport, he would have won every tournament, right? Because the subconscious is just there that like he's so much bigger than everybody else, right?
But he's incredible. Like, he's an incredible skater. And I think the reason why he's like taking it is because, we spoke about that technical element score. And, you start landing a quad, it's valued at 12.5, and it used to be higher. They've dropped the points, like the points assigned to it. So if you start putting quads in, your technical score is so much higher that there's this drive to if you put a quad in, it's worth so much more than a triple. So like even if you get those negative like grade of execution points, like even attempting that quad axel is gonna mean that your points are gonna be bumped up nicely. So like there's that sort of hacking, because like for me, he's a brilliant skater, like phenomenal. Like there are other guys landing quads. Is not the only one, but he does it so beautifully and so effortlessly. It's absolutely incredible to watch. Where I don't think he does so well is on his artistry. Like he does a good job. He does enough like to get by, but it's not the artistry that we see from guys who are like placing a lot lower in the scoring because the way that the scoring works, it's what elements have you done and what points are those assigned. And it's a shame, like from my standpoint. And yeah, I want the artistry.
Well, but you have ice dancing for that. This sounds like he's the super athlete and the others are compensating for never being able to catch up to his genetics, therefore, or his drugs, I don't know. Therefore they have to do more what we'd call fluff, right?
Yeah. I don't know, but it's like, what sort of skater do you want to be? But like in terms of genetics, he was dealt a good hand. Both of his parents are competitive figure skaters. I think performed very well on the international stage together back when they were competing. And obviously, if you're growing up in an environment like that, you're going to be good at skating. Your parents are going to take you skating. They're going to train you well as well because they've obviously reached like a really high level. When it's not surprising that like we're seeing this dominance from him given this family background that he has.
Yep. 21 years old in his prime as well. I think here at least we won't have that question of what would have happened if the Russians were allowed to compete because I think this one's a given. Sounds like it's a runaway for him. What about medals for the small countries we care about? What about Great Britain and Finland? Any hope?
I don't think for Great Britain, I don't follow the men quite as much. So, like, it might just be my naivety on this, but I don't think we have a GB skater. We may have actually. He may even train at my. You might want to look this up. But I don't think we're going to see them podium in. Obviously, for Finland, I also don't know of any people who are there, but I know that we would definitely have skaters. I just don't know.
We got nothing. Finland has nothing. No hope. It's a shame. You know, that's why you gotta invest. Finland has a stagnating economy. That's why soft power is dying away. GB doesn't invest in the ice that there is clearly a culture and a fan base for in this country. And honestly, you will get the hockey team as a bonus. Like there's enough Disney nerds and ice dancing nerds like you to just bring in some ice. They'll fill it most of the day. The hockey guys will practice from midnight to 1 a.m.
Can we make a deal on that? Because currently at my current rink, hockey gets the prime evening spots.
because it sells tickets, right?
I'm down for it.
It sells some tickets in this country. I think it depends on what city you're in, but like Sheffield, Nottingham, Southampton, Cardiff, they have proper hockey rinks that
Mm,
at times are sold out.
yeah.
Belfast as well, I think. Yeah, but yeah, in the singles, no hope at the moment. So we just need some individually gifted, frail people to pick up skating. That's all.
Do we want frail people?
Well, they're a bit frail, aren't they? The figure skaters compared to like a rugby player.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I kind of get like small.
Wiry, that's the word.
Yeah, yeah. We don't want them frail because they break. We don't need them breaking. We need strong but dainty. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so couples, and this is still yeah mixed sex couples, not no funny business yet, but who are the big couples here? This is different to ice dancing. Reminder to everyone, different to ice dancing.
Oh, so the pairs. I cannot tell you one pair skater. Not one. I never watched the pairs. Not one pair skater can I give you. But shall we do a bit of cheating? I'm gonna do some cheating. Give me a second. I can tell you who won it at Worlds last year. Okay, so we've got a team from Japan. They took the gold. We had Germany take silver, and then Italy taking bronze medal. I couldn't tell you anything about their skating apart from Danny. If you look at this picture, the guy from Japan looks like he has very cross eyes.
You're not meant to say that, are you?
How do I send you a
But oh my God, he's so Cross eyes is not the same as slanted eyes. In this case, this guy does have both.
Yeah, no, just cross eyes, like his eye pupils.
His name is Ryuichi Kihara, and he clearly there is an eye situation going on.
Someone should have, like, well, no, actually, let him be who he wants to be. Like, oh, I wonder if he's. I'm like, is he blind? What's going on?
No, it's just it's just cross-eye, like you said. But yes, I mean, ChatGPT will solve this for us, right? Pair skating, oh, it's 2026 Olympics, and does Britain or Finland have any chance in hell? That's what I'm asking the great big truth robot, the Ministry of Truth over here. Realistic picture, and it's emphasizing the word realistic. No, China will come with two teams that are pretty good, but then there's U.S. and Italy's mentioned. Japan, Canada, Georgia is a bit of a dark horse there as well.
Yeah, George, we saw a lot of Georgian skaters at the Euros as well. There is, by the looks of it, a Finland pairs team. I couldn't see who competed at the Worlds.
Apparently, that is already a huge achievement to
Yeah.
send someone on a nice taxpayer-funded holiday to Italy. So that's lovely. Good for them. They won the taxpayer lottery.
If you're like, who's gonna place higher, the Finns or the Brits? Knee jerk, I would have said Finland.
Sports success in general somehow reflects the economy. There is some correlation, right? And it's a bad sign that Finland might have its worst like Olympic stretch ever over the last summer plus this winter plus the next summer ones in its history ever. And it gets to compete in games where there are no Russians.
Yeah.
The best chances ever in Winter Olympics for medals, and they're not going to get many. The hockey team's screwed as well, by the way. I know this isn't a hockey preview, but since we probably aren't going to do a separate one for that, we might. I'm just going to say, like, the Finnish golden generation that had a real chance to win the whole thing needed to go to Beijing, the previous Olympics, and the NHL didn't go. So now all those guys are 4 years older and more injured and whatever, like, not as good anymore. So, yeah.
That's the difficulty with like the Olympics, to podium, you need to be at your peak condition, especially in certain sports. Is those 4 years really make a huge amount of difference? The fact it happens every 4 years really, like, you've got to be born on the right birth year even.
Yeah. It's so brutal that that's all that matters, and especially in sports that have no big TV contracts in the actual leagues that they play on a daily basis. So this is most Olympic sports, summer and winter. This is the major showcase, and there's lots of unfair things. First of all, here, if you win a medal and you're good looking, suddenly you're probably a millionaire through social media and
Sponsorship deals.
if you win a medal and you're ugly, less of a chance. You'll make less money. Like, there are unfair things here. No wonder that people cheat and take drugs to enhance their performance, because seriously, by the time, if you get caught only in the second testing of your sample, you've already made a bunch of money. And if you had good agents, you will have negotiated contracts that the money doesn't have to be returned if you lied about all of it, you know?
Mm.
So it's worth it to cheat for these sports that don't have any big money leagues on a daily basis where you get a salary.
Mm.
What was I saying about Finland? Oh, by the way, Finland is the reigning Olympic champion in ice hockey. Let me be clear about that.
Well, yeah, so they were there at Beijing.
They
And they
won, but nobody who's into the sports gives a shit about those games because it was contested by people between people who play in Europe and other like secondary leagues because the NHL didn't come from North America. So the best players in the world weren't there.
Yeah. So it was an easy win then, or like a easier win. Who do you think is going to take it this year then? Obviously, Finland seem to be unfortunately not going to take the gold. Do you think they're podium?
No. I don't think so. I think it would be a huge upset if they were. Well, anything less than fourth because they're one of the big four in the sport. So anything less than fourth is a total disaster now that Russia isn't there.
Hmm.
But it could even go worse than that. Like, but who's going to take it? I mean, Canada will anything other than a win is a disaster for them with this team that they're sending.
Who else to have an eye on?
Well, for the US, the only acceptable, realistically, for them, any other loss except losing in the final against Canada is unacceptable. But that final loss is unacceptable too, because now it's happened to them so many times in various tournaments that it's pretty unacceptable too. And then the third one, Sweden. Sweden has a sick team, but they've had crazy bad luck with injuries. So that's kind of dropped them to a sort of probably fighting for bronze.
Okay, interesting. So do you think the US will take it?
Yeah, I hope US takes it for two reasons.
Okay.
One is for variety. I don't need another. I've seen Canada win all kinds of things. I don't care anymore. The other thing is the US just in the medal tables. I just want them to beat China or whoever's going to
Okay.
be, or Norway or whatever, you know. In the Summer Olympics, the most exciting event for me was the medal table in itself. And it came down to the last day. And on the last day, the US, both the women's and the men's basketball teams, had to have final minute comeback victories in the final to get the two golds that pushed them one goal ahead of China. Or I think they tied in golds, but then the US had way more of the other medals, so then they won the table. It was nuts. It was so exciting, the medal table itself. Yeah.
It's so close, and it is like, you're talking about soft power, and that is definitely where
Yeah.
we see it, that China US like battle on the world stage is thankfully just in sports.
For now.
Yeah.
Uh, for now. I heard some crazy naval news today because you know I'm a nerd about that stuff, and sometimes we discuss it on the pod. Crazy stuff going on in Chinese shipyards. So yeah, it could become something else quicker than we want.
Maybe we should let China, or maybe not, because if they get the confidence of being like, oh, we're the best sports team, they feel like they've achieved that, and then they're looking for the next goal. So I think, yeah, it's really important that the US win the most.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm gonna root for them in all the sports where no one from my immediate vicinity in Britain and no one from Finland is has any chance. Then I'm with the US just for the medal table and for I don't know one more 4 year cycle of Western dominance before we all die. You know, I guess.
Well, yeah, I think we're looking at a good standing, I think, for US dominance, hopefully in the ice skating. So, with that, should we make some predictions for the ice dance?
All right, let's do your favorite. And I'm so sorry we had to get. Maybe that was good. It was like a techno song. We dipped into the lowest of depression, and now we bring it back up with the Disney stuff.
Yes. Yeah, we stumbled at the pairs being like, "Who are they?" Um, okay, so, like, we've got 4 things that we can look at. So we were talking about the Worlds last year in March. So who topped out there? We had Chalk and Bates, both from the US. These guys they got married last year, and, they're in that newlywed couple, passion stage at the moment.
Why
So
is this coming into it? This is a sports episode.
it's relevant.
How is this fucking relevant?
Because that passion comes through in the chemistry of their skating. So when they're telling their love stories and the way that they hold each other and the way that they look at each other on the ice, you can tell there is passion there, there is excitement there, there's chemistry there. It really shines through. So not only, are you seeing an amazing performance and chemistry between the two skaters, they are also the current record world holders of like the highest points that have been scored in ice dance. When did they set that record? It was back in 2023. So they are hot favorites for the gold at the Olympics this year.
Okay.
We had Canada placing silver at the Worlds, and we had bronze for GB. Fourth, we had Italy. I'll tell you why that's relevant. Because who's missing from this list? Who were we talking about at the beginning of this? Cizeron. What's he doing? Did he retire? No, he didn't. Early last year, in March in 2025, he decided that he wants to get back into ice dance. It's not over for him. Fine, Papadakis wants to go, do her own thing, but he wants to continue to skate. So he announced in March 25, so as the Worlds were taking place, that he would be returning to skating with a new partner.
I don't like that you're dismissing Papadakis's alt lesbian ice dancing so quickly. It could be a big thing.
No, she's great. She's great. I was heartbroken with me. I would love to see these two back, but I'm so excited that we've got Cizeron back on the world stage, that he is there. So he's got a new partner. And so like that world standing that we're looking at for the other disciplines isn't relevant because Cizeron's not there. So we've got to now look at the Euros. How did the Euros go in January 26? Cizeron and his new partner took gold. That's where he lives. He's always going to take gold. We had then Italy, the guys who came fourth in the Worlds, take silver. And then for bronze, we had GB. So we've seen that switch in GB and Italy's position. They're close. They're fighting for the same spot. Now, the question for gold for me really is who's going to take it. But before we go into that, we've got the Beijing Olympics. So we need to look at Cizeron versus the US, France versus the US. When was the last time that happened? We had the Olympics back in 2022. What happened there? We had Papadakis and Cizeron take gold. We had Russia in silver. We had bronze with the US, but not Madison and Chock and Evan Bates. They were in fourth. So
They're hungry.
yeah, maybe the Olympics is too high for them. Maybe they bottle it because the pressure's too high. Like, last time they came fourth. Are they really going to be able to stand up when the pressure's there for them? Or will they learn from that? If we're looking at season's bests, who has it? Well, let me tell you, because obviously the other variable that we've got to play with is it's not the same partnership. We've got Cizeron and Farina Boudre. Sorry, my French is terrible. We've got them, but they've only been skating together for a matter of months. So, that's not a long time to be training together for, to then go into the Olympics. So we're going to look at season's best. So at the Europeans, they got a total of 222.43. And then we're going to look at the Worlds in 2025. Madison and Chock and Evan Bates got 22.04. So who's going to take it? Based on that, it's super, super close. There is just a couple of like 0 point somethings separating the two. I don't know what these two have been doing because we had the US Figure Skating Championships very recently, so in early January, and these guys scored high. So if they're bringing the same program that they had at the US Championships, that looks likely you keep the same program from one competition to another usually, they scored an extortionate 228.87. That is a score that this new pair, Cizeron, Baudry, aren't going to reach with their season's best. There's going to be a huge gap. So who do I reckon the money's on? I think the US may take it, but we've got that that question of on the Olympic stage, are they going to stand up? They bottled it last time. Have they learnt their lesson? If they have, and they're going to perform at the same level that they did at the US Figure Championships, the gold is theirs. So top two for me, it's going to be either or US France or France US. And yeah, very confident.
I'm going to go against you here. I'm going to fade France here. I just don't know how this. I mean, this Ciceron may be an all-time legend, and he's a handsome devil. I'll give you that.
He really is.
But the gelling together, these other pairs have been together for years and years. This guy just jumps in with a new partner and he's up there. I don't know. If you're doing any matchsticks, mine are against that. That there must be a huge advantage the others have over that, right?
Yeah, no, I'd definitely say like chemistry wise between the two, being married and in that newlywed stage, there's a lot of chemistry there. Also, in this new partnership, it isn't quite the precision and synchronicity in like the twizzles, for example, between the pair yet. Like they haven't necessarily got the chemistry there. They're very good at faking it. So, that chemistry, like it's good. Like they are both seasoned professionals. They are very good at being able to bring the performance, and that chemistry is a performative aspect. So like when I watch them at the Worlds, they're going to compete the Euros, sorry. They're going to compete the same program. There was no question about the chemistry. When you watch Cizeron and Papadakis in their twizzles, very difficult execution. So a twizzle being like on one foot you're rotating, and you usually do 4 rotations, and you can hold different positions in that. The thing that makes it super challenging is when you change your arm position whilst doing your rotation. And Papadakis and Cizeron together had those difficult technical elements in their program. I didn't see it in the program that was put forward at the Euros from Cizeron. So I'm wondering whether her skating ability matches his. So that's maybe where my question is, like, they're not scoring the high level of points that we're seeing from the US here. And maybe that's down to her technical ability, and you need to have that synchronicity in between the two skaters. So it's interesting to see, yeah, whether they will take gold or not.
Yes. Okay. First of all, we made it through the events. I love it. I have to say something because we did do this for the NFL playoff preview, and it would be unfair if I didn't do this for figure skating. While we're watching this, I'm going to ambush you here with a serious point. Maybe you know something about this as an insider, as a true spy of the game. The coaching methods and the pressure on these often underaged, often girls, and the awful health issues that are in this sport, mental health, anorexia, bulimia, delayed puberty that we talked about with the hips and all that stuff. I mean, part of me is, is just like I said about the NFL, that I'll be sad about knowing about the head injuries and stuff when I watch the playoffs. A part of me, as awesome as this is, it's also incredibly tragic, like what some of these, especially girls, go through, right?
I've never thought about it. Obviously, no. I think it's less common in ice dance, and it's a less common story. But I think there is definitely this pressure, especially in women's skating, and we saw it very heavily with the Russians for a lot of pressure to be thin. You probably see it quite a lot in pairs skating as well, because obviously the lighter you are, the easier it is for you to be picked up, etc. We saw it with a couple of Russian skaters, very young, very skinny, and then have come out and needed to go to eating disorder clinics. It's terrible, and I really hope there's a movement for healthier bodies. I think if we look at the US figure skaters, that pressure doesn't seem quite as high anymore. If we're looking at like people who are podiuming from the US, at least, that like it hopefully feels like that pressure isn't there for them, and that it's about having a healthy body, a strong body, a body that's going to help you through those jumps, because you need muscles. If you're not eating, you're not going to have muscles that are going to propel you into the air. You're not going to be able to hold your edges properly. Food is so important for your fuel to be an athlete, not the aesthetics that you have of being skinny. But like, yeah, even in figure skaters, if you look at the Swiss skater, very thin. I think if you look at the Japanese skaters as well, like even in Asia, I think there is a propensity to just culturally, perhaps at the moment, for just thinner ladies, that it's not just isolated to ice skating necessarily. But yeah, it's a sport that this is a problem in, but hopefully there's a way of moving past it. It's not the only sport. Obviously, I think gymnastics also had this issue, and also it's an issue just in the culture. You know, like back in the 90s when we had very skinny models, you know, that was the aesthetic body ideal. There was a huge amount of eating disorders. I think we need to really move, like, as a whole, not just ice skating community, but like a whole like community of people to really tackle this and not think that that's the body ideal.
That is a fantastic. That'll serve as your public service announcement. Well done. Have you listened to any? I feel like you've listened to some episodes because that came just here towards the end. Beautiful, natural. I do have a couple of quick fire, fun questions for you though.
Yes.
How long have you been on the ice, and what's the hardest trick you can do?
Goodness. Well, I think I started skating when I was super young, but did I take it anywhere? Not really. So when did I get like back into it? It would probably be 2016. And the thing for me that really got it was I was in Amsterdam. They had an ice rink. It was a beautiful, like, you know, Christmas ice rink. It was just in front of the Rijksmuseum. And they had made it so that like you had a ticket, but like they didn't force you off the ice. And I was skating with my partner Ed, and we'd done like 2 hours of skating. He'd had enough. There was a bar. He went to it and was like, "I'm gonna go do some drinks." He like came back on, have a drink, like skate with me for a bit, and like 2 hours quickly turned into 3, quickly turned into 4, and I just refused to get off the ice. So I was like, I just can't leave. And that was the moment where I just realized that I was 100% like addicted to ice skating. So after that, I had the opportunity. I mentioned that there's an ice rink literally just around the corner from me, very affordable. So I had like all you can eat, like public sessions, and I just couldn't get enough. Ice skating can be expensive, right? You got to get coaches. I couldn't afford a coach at that time. So I was literally just teaching myself to ice skate from Google, YouTube. It was only last year I got a coach. And what I'm going to tell you is like having a coach when you're ice skating, you improve so much quicker than when you're trying to teach yourself. So that was for me that defining moment of one, just realizing that I was addicted, like I couldn't get off the ice, and secondly having an access to an ice rink, because when I was a kid growing up in Bristol, there was no ice rink there. So I think that passion was always inside me. I just never had a way of like expressing it. Now, what's the best trick I can do? If I'm putting a program together, my favorite trick that I like is my scratch spin. It's very comfortable. And people go, God, your scratch spin's good. Jumps are not my strength. So I am currently working on my flip jump and hopefully my axle. So that's my goal for this year, is to hopefully land a single axle, not this quad axle, just a nice single axle. If you speak to Ed, does he think my jumps are impressive? No. Does he think my spin's impressive? Yes. So I'd say my best trick is my spin.
Hmm. Hey, but this is still more than I can do probably, and I've skated my whole life, but I've never tried to jump and spin. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what's your best trick? Because like I watched some ice hockey, actually when I was in Finland last, and I was like, you know, they're turning, but I didn't see one three turn.
Yeah, for me, I played goalie. I'd say the most impressive to the casual viewer is like goalies can be at full skating speed backwards, then slide into the splits,
Wow,
but then still turn around and make a save in the other direction. So
that
then
is pretty
stop on a
impressive.
dime and go the other way. That's stuff that you just grow up learning, so it doesn't feel like anything. But then I guess a casual ice hockey viewer would view that maybe as a little bit of figure skating flair. But nowadays, flair is kind of gone in the goalie position specifically because it's all become so technique and positioning, like just repeatable, standardizable small movements and just repeat them thousands and thousands of times. So there used to be goalies that were way more artistic and flary than nowadays. Nowadays, it's mostly kind of technique based and
How do you feel about
size.
that?
I mean, they become so big that it's not like forget about professional. I was always too short to go pro, but I probably wouldn't even have had a real chance in any serious junior hockey with my height. Like goalies have gotten big. They've gone basically the closer you are to basketball height, the better. You know,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
because they don't have to spin around and do crazy things anymore. It's all about covering as much of the net and being at the right angle. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. From yeah, my perspective, it sounds like something's been lost, like, right? Because there's no those exciting moments of some like a goalie doing something unusual and a bit out there, unexpected. That's where the excitement lives, right? The
Yeah, it was more exciting to watch back then, but nowadays what's become more exciting is the skaters, the forwards especially. They've gone back to a very high scoring game in the professional game. So now the forwards are doing more spins and things that like that a casual viewer would appreciate. But hey, this isn't hockey corner, remember? For us to finish with, give us the best figure skating movie or book or any other internet content for people to prepare before this stuff comes on TV starting 6th of February.
Oh, YouTube without a doubt. So yeah, just Google their programs. I think there's a ISU have a skating channel, so you can whet your appetite. They often live stream all of the major competitions. So I'd say the best place to do some whetting of your appetite is the ISU page on YouTube. And also if you want to learn more, goodness, there's so many different things that can teach you and explainer videos on YouTube, so you can learn about the scoring, etc. And also reining back into one of my achievements of trying to get more people on the ice, as mentioned, you can teach yourself anything off YouTube, including ice skating. So also a big bit, if you're feeling inspired after watching all the Olympics and you think you want to try it out yourself and you can't afford a coach, just get on YouTube and there's hundreds of coaches on there who's broken down all of the entry level elements that you can make a start on.
Awesome. Hey, but Blades of Glory is the top movie, right?
Yeah, was that what you wanted me to say? What do you think of the I, Tonya movie?
I Tonya was great too. Hey, no, I didn't
Different
want
vibe,
to.
right?
Yeah, but a great movie. And other than that, I don't think there are any. Then there's a bunch of Disneys that have
Oh my
like
God, I
skating
watched
movies.
that. I watched a Disney movie. It was awful. It was so the acting in it was so bad. But I've just got this obsession with ice skating that I just watched this absolutely terrible movie just because it was slightly related to ice skating. But I would not recommend watching that.
At the peak of my golf addiction, I was watching like nonsense golf tournaments that nobody cares about because I just couldn't stop. Like, yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one because I thought like, God, this is crazy. Like, is this an addiction? You just like want to fuel it all the time. So you just like start watching like amateur ice skaters and you're getting really into it. So I'm glad I'm to hear that I'm not the only one who has to
And you're
feed it
obsessed, you're
its.
obsessed. The other thing that people get obsessed with at some point in their lives, almost everyone, is chess. And I'm in that rabbit hole now. So just weird chess videos on YouTube, like showing you different moves and stuff. Yeah. There are all kinds of addictions in the world. These are some of the healthier ones. You
They really are.
know?
Send me your chess content. I'm so excited to see it.
I'll do an episode on this as well at some point.
Yes.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for your time. And
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
hey, thank you. We look forward to watching this all on TV. It'll be really exciting.
It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me, Danny.
Along the trail you'll find me loping, where the spaces are wide open in the land of the old AEC. Yahoo! Where the scenery's attractive and the air is radioactive. Oh, West is where I wanna be. Mid the sagebrush and the cactus, I'll watch the fellas practice dropping bombs through the clean desert breeze. Yahoo! I'll have on my sombrero, and of course I'll wear a pair of Levi's over my lead BVDs. I will leave the city's rush, leave the fancy and the plush, leave the snow and leave the slush and the crowds. I will seek the desert's hush where the scenery is lush. How I long to see the mush room of clouds. Mid the yuccas and the thistles, I'll watch the guided missiles while the old FBI watches me. Yahoo! Yes, I'll soon make my appearance, soon as I can get my clearance, 'cause the Wild West is where